For 12 years, she was an outcast, unclean, untouchable. Every single day was a cycle of private shame and public exclusion. She had spent every coin she had on cures that never worked, on physicians who only made things worse. With her body failing and her hope gone, she hears a crowd coming. In the middle of it all is one man, a healer, who is her very last chance. She decides to risk everything on a single, forbidden touch. For 12 agonizing years, her life was defined by a constant issue of blood. This wasn't just a medical condition. In her world, it was a curse that made her perpetually unclean. According to Jewish law, anyone and anything she touched would be contaminated. She couldn't hug a friend or even worship at the temple. On top of that, she was financially ruined. The Gospel of Mark says she had spent all she had only to grow worse. She was bankrupt physically, spiritually, and financially. This is a place of absolute desperation. But then, she hears a name spoken with awe: Jesus, a teacher, a healer. For the first time in more than a decade, a tiny flicker of hope ignited in her heart. This man, this Jesus, wasn't just another doctor. He was her last chance. In that moment, a plan forms in her mind, born of pure, desperate faith. She says to herself, "If I can just touch his clothes, I will be healed." Let's stop here, because that statement is everything. The edge of a devout Jewish man's robe held the tzitzit tassels commanded by God as a reminder of his laws and covenant. When she decides to touch the hem of his garment, she's not just reaching for fabric. She's reaching for the very symbol of God's authority. Her decision is made. Now she has to act, and it is incredibly risky. She leaves the shadows and steps into the chaos of the street. The crowd is a crushing mass of people. Every step is a gamble. If someone recognizes her and shouts, "Unclean," she could face public humiliation. But her faith was bigger than her fear. Her entire world narrows to one single point of focus: the tassels on the fringe of his robe. Her heart is pounding. She lunges, her hand outstretched. For a split second, her fingertips brush against the cloth. A touch so light, he might not have even felt it. But for her, it was everything. The moment her fingers make contact, it happens. Instantly, a surge of power floods her body. The Bible says she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. The bleeding that had tormented her for 12 years just stopped. She was whole. But Jesus stops, dead in his tracks. He turns, his eyes scanning the crowd. He felt power go out from him. He then asks a question that sounds absurd to his disciples: "Who touched my clothes?" They only saw the chaos of the mob. Jesus felt the intentional touch of a single, desperate soul. The woman knows. That question was for her. A wave of fear washes over her. Trembling, she comes forward and falls at his feet. The whole truth just pours out of her. The crowd goes silent, waiting to see what he'll do. And what he says next changes her life even more than the healing itself. He looks at her, not with anger, but with incredible compassion. He speaks, and his first word redefines her entire existence. "Daughter," he says. Daughter. Not unclean woman, not stranger. Daughter. With that one word, he erases 12 years of shame and isolation. Then he gives her the validation she needed. Your faith has healed you. He makes it clear it wasn't magic in the robe, it was the faith in her heart. Finally, he gives her a blessing for the future. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. He wasn't just ending her sickness. He was launching her into a new life of total restoration. This encounter is a powerful picture of how faith works. It's personal, it's active, and it connects our deepest needs to God's power. This woman's story isn't just an ancient miracle. It's an invitation for us today. What's the area of bleeding in your life? The chronic issue you've all but given up on? Are you ready to believe He is the one worth risking everything to reach out and touch? If this story has spoken to you, Please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories of hope from the Bible. And share this with someone who needs to hear that they aren't overlooked and that a single touch of faith can change everything. The miracle of this woman is actually a story within a story. Jesus was on his way to heal the 12-year-old daughter of a synagogue leader named Jairus. It's a beautiful parallel. He's interrupted on his way to bring a 12-year-old girl back to life by a woman who had been suffering for 12 years. It teaches us that no one is an interruption to Jesus. Her healing wasn't just physical, it was social, emotional, and spiritual. In a single moment, she went from being an anonymous outcast in a crowd to being called daughter by the Son of God. She came to him in secret, ashamed and unclean, and she left in peace, publicly affirmed and completely whole.